Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to do a live stream. There's a new interview that popped up today with Disney CEO Bob Iger, and he talks about a number of things. Some of them being Star Wars. He basically blames himself for the state of Star Wars, which I think is really interesting.
Well, for the timing of Star Wars.
For the timing of Star Wars. He talks about the future of the X-Men in the MCU. Mm-hmm. And he also talks about the situation with James Gunn. All of these things we've talked about on CLOWNFISH TV, and we sort of have one article that kind of answers a lot of these questions. So this is coming from the Hollywood.
Convenient.
It's very convenient for us to do this. I'm going to put a link in the chat. Hey everybody. Okay.
So
Bob Iger. This is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. Bob Iger talks Disney's streaming service, Roseanne, James Gunn, and a coming Star Wars slowdown, quote unquote, Star Wars slowdown. I think this shows that Disney realizes that Star Wars is not.
Yeah, but they're kind of blaming it on the timing more than the other issues. But it was too much too soon, I think. But, go ahead.
He also talks about the Me Too movement. So, Disney CEO and most powerful person in entertainment opens up about his plan for a Netflix rival, ESPN's political problems, and how Me Too has changed his company. This article has got all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's all in
one.
Here.
Yeah, it is. So they give a little background on Bob Iger. For those of you who don't know who he is, yes, he probably is. We do have hot voices.
What?
Thanks. Somebody said we have hot voices.
He used to do radio. I just sound like a screechy
hey everybody
person that talks too quickly. Go ahead. I speak fast.
Okay, so these are the questions to Bob Iger. And the one thing that worries us, being Disney watchers, being Disney fans, is this streaming service, this Netflix competitor. They are dumping so much money into this.
Well, they just announced yesterday, it was put up yesterday that they're going to be doing a Loki and Scarlet Witch spin-off series on this platform, most likely.
Right.
And that they're going to probably do some other Marvel characters as a 6 to 8 episode series with big budgets on them, on top of the $100 million, $10 million per episode Star Wars show they're doing. So they're spending a lot of money.
And they're going to be in the hole immediately because not only do they have the cost of getting this, which we believe it's going to be called. We believe it's going to be called Disney Play.
That's what we're hearing.
Yeah, they're going to be in the hole starting out because they're going to lose almost $500 million a year from Netflix revenue because they're pulling all their content off of Netflix, and then they've got their own development costs. Okay, and that's on top of all the content and
the Star Wars show is going to be live action.
It's going to be live action.
All these we're talking about are live action, not animated.
It's going to be Jon Favreau is directing it. It's going to be live action. They're doing 10
episodes. Same for the Marvel episodes. They're all going to be
live action. This Disney streaming service is Disney Play. If they screw this up, this is gonna hurt Disney so bad. I mean, I'm hoping they don't screw it up, but they are literally betting the farm on the streaming service.
Plus, they want it to come in at a lower cost than the competitors.
So $5 to $10 or something.
So we already know going into it that they want it to have a lower price point. They're putting all kinds of original content on it. All the movies Captain Marvel and all these movies coming out, Avengers 4 are supposed to be going over to the streaming service. If not the streaming service on Hulu, which now after the Fox deal, Disney will own over 60% of.
Yes.
So what they're trying to do is they're going to try to have the ESPN streaming service, which already has started, Disney Play, which is coming next year. And then they'll have a 60% ownership stake in Hulu. So what the plan is, we're hearing, is they want to offer packages on the 3 different platforms to even save you more money so that it supposedly puts a dent into the competitors losing money to right now because they're taking their stuff off.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So this is this has a little background on
there's cartoons and movies on the service.
Yeah, they're going to be I think they're going to dump most of. I mean, I want to see some old Disney Channel shows from
I think they're
the
going
80s,
to.
90s.
I'm also hearing they're doing I know they're doing a High School Musical show. They're doing a Monsters Incorporated TV show. The live action Lady and the Tramp is going to go directly there. There's the Noel, that's the Christmas movie with Anna Kendrick's going directly there. So
So a lot of the movies that were slated for theatrical release, as we understand it, are going to go there. There's been talk of some of the Star Wars stories going to this service as sort of made for TV movies.
Yeah, but some people are saying that's not now. It depends. I mean, it is. Sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. So we'll see.
Right.
So go ahead. Anyway.
Okay. So let's go right to the Star Wars. We'll talk a little bit more about streaming service. We'll go right to the question about Star Wars. Most of the article is actually about their new streaming service. So they're talking about Pixar. They're talking about the X-Men. We'll talk about this.
Wait, what about Deadpool? So Deadpool could become... Wait, go back. Oh, you're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, they talk about James Gunn.
Well, you said I thought you read this, so go to where it starts.
Yeah, I'm trying to find.
I didn't get to read this yet, so I've been busy. I just sent it to you, and then I was working other things.
Yeah, where is the Star Wars? It was actually in this.
Well, let's go to other things in order as we see them.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I missed. Maybe the Star Wars wasn't a different. Oh no, here we go. Okay, right here. We'll talk. Should we talk about Star Wars first?
Well, you already got it there, so why are you asking me now?
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, sorry, we'll talk about Star because I think most people are here for the Star Wars. They want to talk about Star Wars. Okay. So, and he doesn't really say a lot, but there is a lot that's being said in this. So, the Hollywood Reporter asked, many believe Disney should pump the brakes and not put out a Star Wars movie each year. Bob Iger says, I made the timing decision, and as I look back, I think the mistake that I made, I take the blame, was too little, too much, too fast. A little too much, too fast. You can expect... Yeah, it is too little. You can expect some slowdown, but that doesn't mean we're not going to make films.
This is interesting.
This is interesting. J.J. Abrams is busy making Episode 9. We have creative entities, including Game of Thrones creators, who are developing sagas of their own, which we haven't been specific about. And we're just at the point where we're going to start making decisions about what comes next after JJ's. But I think we're going to be a little more careful about volume and timing, and the buck stops here at that.
I'll give him credit for at least, taking the blame for it. I'll give him, he took the blame for it. So I'll give him that.
He did, but do you notice what he didn't mention in this? Ryan?
Yeah, no, it was creative. He said we have creative entities, plural, but only including. So he didn't name Rian Johnson. Like, he deliberately didn't name him.
He deliberately did not name Rian Johnson. That doesn't necessarily mean his stuff is canceled, but he's also saying we're going to slow down on Star Wars movie production, which might mean that Rian Johnson's trilogy just naturally gets gone because they have Episode 9. They've got the Game of Thrones creators trilogies coming up, and if they're going to space these movies out more, that just might mean that there's no room for Rian Johnson. But he did
word it. We have creative entities, including, as if we're spinning. There's more than I'm just mentioning. But I think it's interesting if he deliberately didn't mention him, that he's well enough aware that mentioning that person causes backlash.
Trouble. Yeah.
So that means either way, however you want to look at this, he's aware. I think that name sets off people.
Oh, I'm sure. I
know. I'm just saying.
I'm sure he's aware.
This proves that he's aware.
Yeah. So basically, the fact that he deliberately did not mention Rian Johnson,
didn't mention Kathleen Kennedy either.
Didn't mention Kathleen Kennedy. He mentioned people that fans generally like. J.J. Abrams, Game of Thrones guys. Did not mention Kathleen Kennedy. Did not mention Rian Johnson. And You're right. Geeky's right. Bob Iger chooses his words very carefully.
Always does.
And he knows what's going to set people off. Mm-hmm. So he deliberately left out Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson.
Plus, he also said he did take the blame for it. But some people said about the problem with Star Wars wasn't the stories, was the amount, the story's not the amount, which I agree with. I think you could probably have one Star Wars movie a year, as long as it was like a year between, and I think that would be okay. It was just that there was so much, it was too much too soon after such a disappointment of The Last Jedi was to a lot of people. And I think that the people that you disappointed on that were the ones you were hoping would come out for Solo, and they didn't. And it was too close together for those two.
Yeah, it was too close together. Because, it was like the bad taste was still in your mouth from The Last Jedi. And they're like, hey, guys, get excited for another movie that's had a lot of drama behind the scenes. I would rather see a good trilogy every 10 years than have them just try the Marvel approach with Star Wars. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
How long was it between the prequels? I'm trying to remember. How long was it between the prequels? Was it?
It was 3 years.
Was it 3 years?
Yeah, it was just like the original.
I'm trying to remember. It's been so many years. I was to everyone for the first ones in line.
Then we had like a 10-year gap.
But I was going to say, that gives you time to forget how bad the last one was.
Well, no, that's just it. Like the prequels, by comparison,
I know, are glorious.
They are. Yeah, they're not as bad as people make them out. I don't think the prequels are as bad as people make them out to be.
So, but it's just interesting. I thought it was interesting that he took the blame for it, which, as the person in charge, he should take the blame for it because, to me, I actually thought that was pretty cool, and that went a ways with me because I'm like, he's taking responsibility for it because at the end of the day, he is responsible for it, and I did think it was interesting. He mentioned they're going to slow it down, but he mentioned the creative entities, including and named people that people aren't mad about. And then deliberately left out the person that people that people are mad about out of the discussion.
Yeah,
he didn't say they weren't, but he was smart enough not to include them.
And the last thing he says, okay, this is coming from the CEO of Disney, the most powerful person in entertainment on the freaking planet. The buck stops here on that. Mm-hmm. Okay, that is corporate speak for I am in charge.
I am aware.
I'm aware. I am, and again, he's deliberately not mentioning controversial people, but he's also like, don't listen to the other bullshit. I am the CEO of Disney, and this is how things are going to be. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to, all of a sudden, like, Lucasfilm is going to be, but clearly Bob Iger is aware
of the situation.
Yeah, because, I mean, honestly, he is, in charge of Kathleen Kennedy, and I think he just, and Ryan Johnson, and you've got Ryan Johnson out there running his mouth. Mm-hmm. Which is stupid. I mean, he has to be looking at this being like, oh my God. Oh, thank you, everybody. Yeah, thank you.
Real quick, but change that for just a second, but it ties into this because we talked to you guys about Galaxy's Edge before and this new Star Wars part coming to Disneyland. If he's going to get in trouble for anything from this article, it is not going to be about his talk about Star Wars movies. It is going to be on his talk about booze at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people really mad about this. And then he kind of makes these like jokes about it. And I'm just like, oh, crap. You think Star Wars fans are nuts? Just don't.
Yeah, Disney fans. Okay, so here's the thing.
This is what he's going to get in trouble for.
Okay, so if you guys aren't aware, if you're not Disneyland, like we're huge parks fans. We are there like almost every month. We're at one of the parks. We are there all the freaking time. Huge Disney parks fans. Disneyland. Okay, so Walt himself said he did not want alcohol in Disneyland Park. Now that doesn't include Downtown Disney.
Doesn't include California Adventure.
Doesn't include California Adventure. But Walt specifically said
World.
He does not want booze in Disneyland. So they're building Galaxy's Edge, the Star Wars edition. They're going to have the cantina. They're going to have alcohol. People are losing their...
Yeah, they're actually having a cantina.
Yeah, they're losing their minds over it. And this is what they asked him about that. So of course, Star Wars is going to go. That's what Walt wants. If anything, is going to go against
Star Wars. Well,
he's
he's mentioned Star Wars. Some people need a drink. I mean, go ahead.
Finally, some Disneyland purists are upset that there's going to be booze for sale in Star Wars Land. Bob Iger says we have to be careful. We don't let people drink and then go on Autopia. Ha 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 ha.
Sorry.
Ha ha. Funny. Period. Walt did specifically say no booze at Disneyland. Yeah, except I think Walt had a nip or two in his apartment at night. I'm a big believer in tradition. This just seemed like one of those traditions that if we changed it, the Empire wasn't going to crumble.
He's clever. The Empire.
Yeah, so
in Star Wars Land.
In Star Wars Land. So
Empire's evil, buddy. Do you not know this?
Anyway, I can see both sides of it. I mean, I understand look, Disney's trying to maximize their profits. They did this. People don't understand, even with the movies, and all of this is tied together. The parks, like, if you just follow the movies, you have no idea how important the parks are to the Walt Disney Company. The parks literally make up deficits. Solo bombs, that's okay. They got the parks. Wrinkle in Time bombs.
We'll raise the minivan prices.
We'll gouge the park fans.
This didn't do well. Okay, these souvenirs just went up $3, which actually all just happened last month. I'm not just making this stuff up. There's reasons why I say it. But go ahead.
Yeah. So so Disney, I mean, the parks pick up the slack. They picked up the slack for other divisions failing for years. Now this year the attendance is actually down Walt Disney World. For the first time in a while, which is going to be interesting going into 2019.
Oh, it's going to be insane.
We've got some tinfoil hat theories about how this might affect the comics division. That's not why they're here. Well, we're talking about I see everybody's talking about Captain.
I want to say something real quick. Yes, I did see the woman complaining about Samuel L. Jackson being 66 words to her 33. I was like, really?
And punch
you sat there and counted?
And punch
you
a
counted
woman.
The words.
Yes.
To prove what? That one minority had more words than the other? I was like, what's the point?
I don't know.
I mean,
and
technically,
they're complaining about her punching a woman. I'm like, well, at least she didn't punch Stan Lee. Because there's all kinds of problems with that.
Yeah, and it's like, clearly, if you think that she's actually punching an old woman, you're an idiot. So anyway.
Oh, God.
So, but yeah, this all ties into Marvel and everything else, because divisions, when they have underperforming divisions and they have to save money certain places, that's why now you're seeing, what you said about a couple years ago, stuff's being outsourced now. And it's this is the beginning. They're outsourcing it.
Yeah, they're outsourced. Yeah. Okay, so Disney's going to be looking to cut corners going into 2019. The parks are not doing as well.
And alcohol makes money. I'm just saying.
Alcohol makes money.
It's huge profit margins on that.
They're jacking prices on everything. Again, to pay for other business divisions that aren't as profitable, Marvel Comics. So Disney will be looking with the Fox acquisition, with the streaming service that they're going to go into billions of dollars in debt probably for the streaming service, and with Fox they're spending like what was it, $65-75 billion on Fox.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Disney's going to be looking to cut. They're already cutting staff at the parks, which
they already cut some other staff at other departments as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So just to tie it in quickly to comics, Disney's going to be looking to jettison weight. I don't know what that means for Marvel Comics, but I can tell you that Marvel Comics is not terribly important to Walt Disney. The Walt Disney Company.
I said Walt Disney. It wouldn't be Walt Disney Company. I wouldn't say Walt Disney because right now not many things are important to Walt Disney.
He could be frozen in the basement.
He's not. That is not true.
We don't know.
What's I gonna read? Yeah, instead of Star Wars movies each year, mix them with a few games and books. I agree with that. Games that they're not going to use the whole, hey, you get this game for whatever, but if you want to actually be a player, you have to buy, like they did with the whole battle. Was it Battlefront? Yeah, Battlefront. Yeah. Our son was so mad about that before he came out.
Oh, he was so pissed. He's like $60 for the game, and I don't even get everything.
Yay, Kingdom Hearts. Woo. I'm so excited about Kingdom Hearts 3. I know we're getting off topic, but our daughter's named Kyrie after Kingdom Hearts. So it's like, we love Kingdom Hearts.
Freaking love Kingdom Hearts.
And as far as Brie Larson, I did find it odd that they only picked clips where she had like no emotion whatever. Now, I've seen her act. I know she can act. Yeah. So I've seen her in other things. I just thought it was odd that it was they did have same face syndrome throughout the trail. I don't know why.
She's smiling there.
I'm just like, I did think it was odd. Because I know I've seen her in other things, so she's not terrible. I don't get it. But can we go back to the thing we're talking about? We're jumping around.
We are jumping around.
Okay, so what else did you want to talk about? Because that we talked about the Star Wars, we talked about alcohol in the parks, and how he joked about it.
We talked
Disney
about
fans are way nuttier than Star Wars fans.
Okay, yeah, they are. Okay, how is Marvel? This is important too. How is Marvel going to absorb Fox's X-Men franchise? Is Kevin Feige going to oversee everything? I think it only makes sense, says Bob Iger. I want to be careful here because of what's been communicated to the Fox folks. Did he say things to them like, oh yeah, sure, we're gonna,
let you run it, or
we're gonna let you run X-Men, But I think they know. It only makes sense for Marvel to be supervised by one entity. I agree with that. There shouldn't be two Marvels.
Well, there already are.
So
but
Deadpool.
That's something different.
Yeah, there are two Marvels.
You know what? There shouldn't be two Marvels. That's a valid point. I'm just saying. Yeah. So there shouldn't be three Marvels?
Yeah, so Deadpool could become an Avenger. Kevin's got a lot of ideas. I'm not suggesting that's one of them, but who knows?
Well, why would he say that? Why would he say he's got a lot of ideas? I'm not saying that's one of them, but who knows?
Yeah,
I'm like, really? Really? Okay.
Yeah, really. So the X-Men, the X-Men are going to get rebooted. Fantastic Four is going to get rebooted. This should not surprise anybody. But at least I have hope that the Fantastic Four will be handled correctly in the MCU. And this funny thing, I freaking called this last year.
He did, and you got so much crap.
I got so much shit from people. I called this on the one Disney blog I work for. I did a story on, we've been hearing that the Fantastic Four were going to come to the MCU, come hell or high water. Disney was going to get them back, and they were going to get them back.
Which I don't blame them. That would be a smart choice.
And the signs were there. They were starting to release action figures of the Fantastic Four again. Now, the comic wasn't back, but they had cards. The action figures were there. We're hearing rumblings from people that Disney is going after X-Men and Fantastic Four. They want to own the entire Marvel universe.
We saw characters showing up that,
hadn't been used in years.
Right.
So they have been talking to Fox for a while.
Right.
We put that story out there, and oh my God, I got so much hate from these comic book bloggers. Like, you don't know anything about comic books.
Well, I still love when you did the Marvel.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I still love when you did the Marvel story about the possibly outsourcing and their sales being bad, and the one person's like, what does a travel blogger know about comics? It's
and
like,
it was a comics person,
If you read the bio where it says he worked for years in comics,
now they didn't care.
Maybe you'd know.
Well, that's kind of what kind of got me pulled back into the fiasco in mainstream comics. Now was I put articles up and I basically was like, look, this is just my armchair observation. Being a guy who watches Disney pretty much for a friggin' living, this is what we do. And I'm like, Disney is not in the business of keeping divisions around that don't perform.
No, they're highly efficient. Even ones that are performing, they'll get rid of if it doesn't hit a certain high standard. They are extremely efficient.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, Disney outsources all their other comics. They could very easily outsource all the Marvel superheroes, and it's not going to make any difference to them because they literally make like no money on the comic books. They make money on the movies. They do not care about Marvel Comics. This is why I think Marvel Comics has been ground into the ground, because I don't think they're getting a lot of support from Disney. I think Disney's just kind of letting them do their own thing for now until they don't need them anymore. And then I don't know what's going to happen. But we've already got Spider-Man comics coming to IDW. And IDW is another trash fire.
They're just going to start. I think they're testing the waters. We'll outsource some things and see how it goes. But then, like, IDW is falling down apart, so who knows? But what else were they talking about?
They talked about James Gunn. So
yeah, where is that?
We're going to do. They're talking about the
right there with Roseanne and stuff.
Yeah, this is interesting. Okay, Bob Iger completely supports the firing of James Gunn. Like he's doubling. Well, there goes another truck because we're doing it live. He's okay. So Hollywood Reporter asked him, how involved do you get in the decisions to cancel Roseanne at ABC or fire James Gunn at Marvel? Bob Iger says, I would say there's a blend of my helping to make the decision to my supporting the decisions that have been made. Roseanne was completely unanimous. We discussed how it would be communicated and when, because there were a number of entities that had to be properly filled in, but the decision was completely unanimous. So Bob Iger was directly responsible for, or directly involved in the firing of Roseanne. The James Gunn decision was brought to me as a unanimous decision of a variety of executives at the studio, and I supported it.
So it came from a variety of people, not just, which is interesting, because here's my thing, and I've been saying this, and I'll keep saying this. Considering the backlash, and considering that Disney usually does err more on the side of the liberal side, the fact that they doubled down on that meant there has to be way more to it than what we're aware of.
There are multiple people. So for everybody who's like, oh, this is just a knee-jerk reaction, and I'm talking about you, Dave Bautista, knee-jerk reaction to some conservative YouTubers or bloggers trying to get James Gunn fired. Disney would not fire somebody like James Gunn. They would not do it lightly. I mean, you see how many chances the hosts of The View have had.
Yeah, that's the thing. They already, like, Roseanne made the comment she made, and she was automatically fired, which I don't disagree with. I mean, she said some really crappy things. However, I have heard some crappy things out of people on The View before too, and they just were allowed to apologize. I mean, they insulted anybody who was Christian for one thing, and they were just allowed to apologize and allowed to keep their job. So clearly, there's already a skewed one way to begin with. Gunn is on the liberal side, and normally they would give him a chance or take his side. The fact that they did not leads me to believe that there's a lot more to it, and it was so sudden, there was like, nope. There had to be something. They have something on it, and they have to. There was no way they would just do this for no reason.
I mean, this whole interview is like, because this is the end of the fiscal year for Disney, and it's almost like he put this out there that he agreed to do this interview, Bob Iger, to clear the air about a lot of different things. And he said repeatedly, the buck stops here, which means...
I give him credit for this.
I will, because normally CEOs just hide. Bob Iger does not hide.
He came out and said, hey, it's my fault for this. We did this for this. We have reasons. He also said that it was a number of... he said that the decision was brought to you by a unanimous decision of a variety of executives. So we're talking about people on overseeing different properties,
different levels of Marvel, yeah.
So if it was all from one group, you could be like, okay, it's just that group didn't like him.
It's a lynch mob or something, yeah.
But it's a unanimous decision from a variety of executives at the studio. There has to be more to it. There had to be behavior that they saw that would, give them cause to do this. And I've been saying that for a while now. I don't know the situation.
Right.
I just know that they've let other people get away with with this apology, or you can come back and even though you didn't do anything, there's nothing provable, you could just phase you out so everybody is in good faith. But this was just like, nope, ends right now.
Right, and let's be honest, at the end of it, Disney cares about money. James Gunn has made them a lot of money. They're banking heavily on the Guardians of the Galaxy. They have a new attraction opening up in Epcot. They're putting millions and millions of dollars into this. They can't afford to have that brand damaged.
Right. So there has to be more to it.
There's more to it. And I mean, I'm not going to go pointing fingers and say he's this or that or whatever. But for Disney, we don't know. But for Disney to get rid of him that quickly, for it to go through the proper channels, and for Bob Iger to come out and double down on his decision to fire him, there's more going on than the public's aware of.
We're talking about the new PS4 Spider-Man. Yes, it's pretty awesome. Our son actually
it is.
Loved
it is awesome. So here again, Bob Iger, there was backlash. You still support it? I haven't second-guessed their decision.
Yeah. Trust me, if there's got to be something that's really bad, or they wouldn't have... Because, I mean, Guardians is a huge property. Gunn was really popular for doing Guardians. There's a lot of backlash on the internet, Twitter mostly, about him being fired.
Right.
If they had any reason to think, well, maybe they made the wrong decision, I think they would have looked at it again. But they aren't, and they're not saying why.
Yeah, Disney has reinstated. I mean, people have been reinstated companies before once they've been cleared. And the fact that Bob Iger is coming out again months after this happened and saying in a formal interview with a Hollywood Reporter, I don't second guess their decision, means there's some.
What I'm interested in is in the shift of tone for the next paragraph, from the Gunn thing to this one. Yes.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
Well, and this is also...
We've mentioned this a few times.
Yeah, this is also interesting how they handled John Lasseter versus how they handled James Gunn, which is why, again, I think there's more going on.
Mm-hmm.
So they asked about John Lasseter, Pixar head John Lasseter, who was... he's being phased out. He was
accused of inappropriate contact and,
He hugs people. Among other things. I don't know exactly, but he makes people uncomfortable.
Accused of inappropriateness.
But you've never seen any,
proof of this, but you're not seeing proof of Gunn either. So.
Right, but you've never seen any he did this or that or whatever. But he's a very touchy-feely guy. Most people who work at Pixar know John Lasseter's a very touchy-feely guy, and I guess alcohol's involved. He's touchier and feelier than he usually is,
which is not okay.
Right.
But, go ahead.
Right, and I'm not saying that's okay, but I'm just saying there is a difference in how they handle John Lasseter versus.
Well, even in how he describes it, he says the last couple sentences. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So they ask him, has the culture at Pixar changed at all in the past 8 months and since the exit of John Lasseter? Anytime you change leadership, there's an inevitable cultural shift.
Well, they took 2 people to replace him.
It took 2 people to replace John Lasseter. That's how much he did for that company. There was a cultural shift at Disney when I took over from Michael Eisner after 21 years.
Yeah.
John Lasseter. Yeah. It did get better, actually.
Sorry.
John Lasseter was in his role for a long time, had an enormous influence on both the culture and creativity of Pixar. And so, of course, in John leaving, there is an inevitable cultural shift. To get into the details, I prefer not to.
Wasn't that interesting? To get into the details, I prefer not to.
He's not going to throw John Lasseter under the bus.
Well, I found that interesting in comparison to the James Gunn. They unanimously agreed, and I back it. I do not regret it.
Yeah, this is.
And then two, I don't want to get into the details.
Yeah, basically, I think John Lasseter is friends with Bob Iger, and Iger knows Lasseter's value to the company. Because Lasseter took the reins on the Disney animated projects too. It wasn't just Pixar, but he brought Disney animation back from the brink of obscurity. I mean, he did so much for the company. Bob Iger's not going to throw him under the bus publicly, but he has no problem throwing James Gunn under the bus.
What has changed within Disney as a whole as a result of the #MeToo movement? I don't want to talk about anybody specifically, but it's critical for us as leaders in this industry to create safe environments for people who have been victims of abuse. To speak up and feel safe about speaking up, and for others who have witnessed abuse to do the same, which I don't disagree with. Yeah. It's critical. As difficult as this time may seem, it's high time that we all woke up to the need to protect the people that work for us and work with us. So, I mean, interesting. He's like, I'm not going to talk about it specifically. So, interesting. I just found it interesting the way it was worded.
It's very, actually, Lasseter did bring in Ghibli, but that relationship's ended. Lasseter, I can't, look, I'm not going to defend whatever wrongdoing he was accused of, but I am going to say that you can't stress enough how much he has done for the Walt Disney Company. And I think Bob Iger at least appreciates that and not throwing him under the bus, publicly. It's just like, and they're phasing John out. Lasseter has until the end of the year to make the transition. And he's retirement age anyway. I mean, he's like 65-ish, I think.
Gunn was just done.
Gunn was
That's
done
what I'm saying.
immediately. There's something else going on
how
with
he
James
talks
Gunn.
about the two people. There's clearly, that's what I'm saying. There's clearly a difference here, and I'm thinking, there's got to be more to it than we're aware of, and I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm saying Disney could not scrape Gunn off the bottom of their shoe fast enough. And as far as Dave Bautista, he's done. I can tell you right now, Disney is not going to.
I don't know,
bring him back. I would be shocked.
Usually, if you complain.
Well, if you complain, it wasn't even like, hey, because again, the rest of the cast, they put out a formal statement. We support James Gunn, and that was it. But Dave Bautista, he kept pushing it. Disney's awful, horrible. They're nauseating to work for. Like, do you want that guy working for you? If he clearly hates your company, I don't. I mean, just go get another meathead to play Drax.
I liked Kiki's too, and I liked Spirited Away, and I really like Halloween Castle, but the book's better than the anime.
Yeah.
Just saying.
The book is better.
The book is much better. Go read the book. It's my favorite book ever. I think I've read it like 10 times.
Yeah, I don't think Lasseter's done. I don't think Perpetual Punster. I don't think Lasseter is done. I would not be surprised if he either started his own studio or he went to work for DreamWorks or something, the competition. But I could see him. I could see John Lasseter starting his own company, doing another Pixar or something, and doing another animation studio.
Thank you. I try.
So this is, now they're talking about Rupert Murdoch and yada, yada, yada. ESPN. Okay, they talk about ESPN.
Yeah, I don't really care about sports.
Yeah, but just saying, this is all kind of related because Disney's got a lot of flack for being too liberal. ESPN's gotten very liberal. They've terminated people and their numbers were down and all this. So, he's brought back some, this is interesting too. This is coming from the top. Jimmy felt the pendulum may have swung a little bit too far away from the field, and I happen to believe he was right. And it's something, by the way, that I think John Skipper had come to recognize as well. But Jimmy coming in fresh has the ability to address it, I think, far more aggressively and effectively. He has brought back some balance, okay? Because ESPN, I think Bob...
Nozick is good too.
Nozick is good. So what's going on here? This is the end of the fiscal year. You've got the head honcho of Disney coming out and saying, mistakes were made. Mistakes were made with ESPN.
Right.
Mistakes were made with Star Wars.
Yes.
And he's owning up to it. Everybody's like, oh, Bob Iger's an SJW. Bob Iger's not an SJW. Bob Iger is a smart businessman who happens to be liberal and a Democrat. And I think he realizes, like, look, even though I may personally disagree with whatever political view, like, we got to make money. At the end of the day, Disney wants to make as much money as they possibly can.
Yes. And the thing is, I think that's where... It's kind of like we are too. It's like you kind of stay you have to stay central in the middle. You might lean liberal, but you have to kind of like keep your head on straight and realize that you have to find a place of balance. And I think that's what happens on the internet is it's fueled by extremes. One extreme far more than the other, but it's definitely run by extremes. And I think when it comes to everything, you just need to calm down, take a breath, find the facts, and stay as neutral as you, or in the middle as you can. I don't say neutral, but as centrist as you can.
Yeah, and I think
to the issues.
I do think that he's starting to realize that, like, this political grandstanding by some of his underlings is costing Disney money, and they're going to be going into 2019 needing every damn cent they can get their hands on just to pay for things.
I want to say something before you read that. Whisper of the Heart, our daughter loves that, but she really loves The Cat Returns, which is like kind of the sequel to Whisper of the Heart. She loves The Cat Returns. She's watched like 100 times.
I like The Cat Returns.
She loves it. Go ahead. Anyway, go ahead and read that.
Thank you, Subasi. You did not have to do that. I love you guys. Thank you. As always, I'm doing a video later on Comicsgate and other issues we nerds are dealing with. There are a lot of issues right now. You guys are leaders on YouTube. I don't know about that, but thank you. And you guys can really make a change. I don't know.
We're just calling for rational behavior.
We're just trying to get everybody to... But, some
people cannot be reasoned
some
with,
people
no
can't be
matter who
reasoned
they
with.
are. There's nothing you can do.
Let's be honest. But the fact that the head of the Walt Disney Company is coming out, and again, I'm not trying to be like, you're Disney shills. It's like, no, we're Disney fans. We're Disney fans for a reason. Disney, for the most part, is a pretty sane company.
Plus, they own everything that's good.
They freaking own everything. So
well, not everything that's good, but a lot of it.
But they're not going to. Bob Iger's not going to let this shit happen on his watch because his legacy. He's got his legacy to think about. Like, his legacy is going to be Iger. Brought Disney in up to a whole nother level. He created the streaming service and yada, yada, yada.
Well, I'm thinking the streaming service is what he's hoping is his legacy besides all these, acquisitions. And I'm hoping that doesn't bite him in the butt. But let's see.
Because but the thing is that, if nothing else, even if they personally don't believe it, the Walt Disney Company likes money more than anything. And they realize ESPN has cost them money, with their political views.
Yes.
Star Wars has cost them money with them attacking fans.
And the political views.
Right. And in regards to comic books and the Comicsgate situation, Joe Quesada going after Comicsgate publicly in the manner he did last week, that is not going to score points.
I'm
with
the one
Disney.
that sent that to you.
Yeah, that's not a good
look. Because I was
look.
like, wait. To me, what that said, and I could be completely wrong, but to me, what that said was, This person who's supposed to be so busy running these things comes to Twitter just to learn people, says to me that there is definitely a threat.
There's a threat.
Or he would not come off of his ivory tower to address the masses. And make sure they know their place, or make sure they know that, who to listen to. Usually people that are busy, and he's very busy, and are higher up in a company don't feel the need to do that unless there is a specific reason, a threat about jobs, a threat about something. That they feel they need to come down and slap down people.
Right.
Personally, I don't know him. I don't know much about all he said. I just saw that he could on and on. Apparently, the wordier your tweets are, I guess it means more. Apparently,
yeah. Joe Quesada, by coming down and slumming it with the comics, like smacking down YouTubers and getting involved in this political crap that's going on with the comic book industry right now, tells me that there was a threat. I can almost guarantee.
Yeah, I think it's diminishing sales. I agree. Someone said diminishing sales.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I think the quarter's coming up. The end of the quarter, the end of the year. Yep. This is when the numbers matter. Disney is in a place right now where they're having to pay for Fox. They have all these big projects with the parks, which parks are extremely important to Disney. I'd say as important in the movies, if not a little more so. Yeah. And then you have these deficits showing up on these other things, and they have to make up for it. And they're already willing to cut things on things they care about with movies and parks. Things that they don't really need are going to be the things that they're going to really cut and get rid of.
They're looking to cut.
Right. So, I mean, if I were them, I'd be peeing my pants too right now. I mean, I can understand completely why he did it. I don't think he should have, but I can understand why. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, I think this goes back to the interview a couple of months ago with Sana Amanat and CB Cebulski on CBS. It wasn't on ABC. It was on Rival Network. It was on CBS, and talking about how, pronouncing that they want to make Marvel a lifestyle brand. I think that was a show for Bob Iger. I really do. I think they know that this quarter for Marvel Comics is going to be make or break. This year is going to be, and they're like, let's put on a show. Here, look, we're forward thinking, Bob. We're thinking lifestyle brand, not.
Okay, so by lifestyle brand, you mean a brand that it's a household name and everybody knows and everybody has, right? That's what they mean by lifestyle. Okay. Well, here's an idea. If you're trying to make it that, the best way to do that is, one, not crap on everybody who doesn't agree with you. Two, keep characters that people know. Lifestyle brands like Marvel, when people think Marvel, they think the MCU. They do not think of Marvel Comics. They think of the MCU. So your better service to keep the characters that people know as what you know what I'm saying? So if you want a lifestyle brand, you're not exactly going the right way about doing that. But go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Holy crap. You didn't have to do that. May business win out over virtue signaling. At the end of it, Disney is a for-profit company. They're a successful for-profit company. They're only going to let this shit go on for so long before they rein it in.
The goal of a business is to make money. Right. That is the end goal of any business. And if you're not making money, then you can't survive. That's just the way it is. It's like a Highlander. You know, if you can't survive, you're just going to get bought up by somebody else. That's just the way it works.
Yeah. And Disney can't afford to make mistakes at this point. I mean, it's critical. But yeah, I mean, as far as Marvel Comics goes, there's definitely some weirdness going on there. And again, I think there have been threats made. I really do. I could totally see, especially Marvel Comics answers to Marvel Entertainment, which is not Marvel Studios. Again, these are two separate companies. People don't understand that Marvel Studios is a division of Walt Disney Pictures. They answer directly to the Walt Disney Company, to Alan Horn at Walt Disney Company. They're a studio under Disney. Marvel Entertainment handles the TV shows. They handle the comic books. They handle a lot of the license deals. It's run by Ike Perlmutter. I can't even talk. Ike Perlmutter, thank you, who is if you want to get political, he is a Republican's Republican. Like, he is besties with Donald Trump. Like, this guy is not, and if somebody tipped him off that there was all this weird political stuff going on.
I think he doesn't know.
I'm sure he knows. But as long as it's making money, I think he's like, we'll turn a blind eye to it.
Marvel, you don't know how it's being spun either. I mean, these people at the top, which is why I thought it was interesting that Joe showed up, was because they're in their own world. They're getting this stuff done. I mean, you're at the top of this stuff. You are working all the time. I mean, I'm not saying we're at the top of things, but we don't have time usually to go read this or do that because we're usually working all the time.
Yeah.
When you're a busy person and you're working all the time, you just don't go get embroiled in all this stuff because you just don't have the time for it. That's how you know these people are clearly not that busy in life because that's all they do is tweet.
Right.
I think where people get information when they're in these ivory towers and high up focused on what they're doing is they're getting the information from the people who are around them, and the people around them are the ones that are on Twitter tweeting all the time. So
yeah, and I think that's
they're going to get a skewed view of what's going on.
Well, I think this is going on with a lot of the pros that have come out, Bill Sienkiewicz and Frank Cho, and that they're getting, because they're older, they've been in comics for a while. I don't think they're as active on social media. I think they are getting skewed versions and or threats from their peers.
I think it's threats too. But, because I mean, I hate to say it, but it just seems like there's a lot of threats being made, and I do, like someone mentioned. Where did I see it? Oh, what upsets me about the virtue signaling is that they violate the same morals they claim to defend. And that's what gets me, too. Yeah. As somebody who's watching this from the middle, I honestly don't even really read comics, to be completely honest with you. I don't have time. We're busy. And we make them, though. And
we make them, but we don't.
I sit there and, I basically made the comics I'd want to read. But we sit there and we watch this, even just as a neutral, trying to stay neutral as we can. And I'm seeing this, I'm like, you're screaming about bullying as you're bullying people.
Yeah.
I'm like, but that's what you're mad about. Why the flip would you do it?
Because it's about control. Again, this whole thing, the politics, from my point of view, and from our side, being on the other side of it and seeing how things work behind the scenes, my point of view is this is about control. This is about a group of people who got themselves, put in charge of a segment of the entertainment industry, and they want to stay in charge. The politics are a smokescreen. It's a smokescreen. At the end of it, it's all about staying in control of that business segment that you've worked so hard to weasel your way into, and that's really what this is about. And they're going to say horrible things about people, horrible things about fans. Like, I mean, that right there tells you everything you need to know. How much do these people actually love the comic book industry enough to call a bunch of fans disgusting things? That's how much the comic book family, quote unquote, means to these people. It's horrible. Geeky and Neon, do you think independent comics creators like the one for Cyberfrog will succeed in restoring the comic industry? I think comics will go...
I think it's changing.
I don't think that the direct... This is my personal opinion. I don't think the direct market's much longer for this world. I think it's...
Not as it stands now.
Not as it stands right now. I think there will be more direct-to-consumer sales. I think that there's always going to be a market for comics. I think independents will take off because the offerings from the major publishers aren't there. And at some point, somebody's going to blink, and I think one of the big two will go away. I don't know when that's going to happen.
My thing about independent comics, they've been around for quite a while now. I mean, before as the print indies, and now as with web comics and things, we've had independent for quite a bit. And it's kind of been changing this whole time. Now these comic people are all jumping ship to web comics and everything else. We've already been seeing this for several years. So I do think it's going to change. I think it's going to change or evolve more than it's going to be the end. Or there's
it's a change.
I think it's a change, and we don't know yet how it's going to play out. We can see kind of patterns, but we don't know exactly what's going to happen. I am interested to see what happens if Marvel's sales keep dropping. I just know that They'll only allow it so long.
Disney's only going to put up with it for so long, and they're going to be they're at this point, as big as Disney is, with all the expense they're taking on in 2019, they're going to be searching the couch cushions for change. And if it means they can save 100 salaries if they cut Marvel Comics loose and just job it all out to somebody else, they'll do it. They don't care. It's not, comics mean nothing
still have
to
the
them.
name. They just want the name, and they'll still have the name.
Right. It'll be a lifestyle brand. There'll be Marvel backpacks and Marvel underwear.
Well, they already are.
Yeah.
But it's based on the films, not the comics. So,
but to me,
speaking of underwear, change the subject for a second. We'll be doing video on this shortly. But I bought a pair of underpants for Neon here. They are called MeUndies, and you might have seen it on Facebook. And they glow in the dark. And the commercial was really painful to watch. So I had to buy them just because the commercial was cringy. So we will be doing a video on the commercial and the underpants that glow in the dark.
Yeah, but I'm not doing a video.
No, he's not wearing the underpants.
I think that would get demonetized.
I would have bought them for me.
Nobody wants to see that.
But they didn't have the size I needed. So, but they bought them for you because I couldn't have them. Even though I bet you I could fit into yours. Maybe.
Probably could.
They're elasticy. But
they're elasticy.
I don't have stuff.
Elasticy. Okay. I thought you said they're sticky.
I don't have anything.
I'm like, no, they're not.
I don't have any of the front pouch.
Oh.
But I'm just saying, we're going to do a video on these underpants.
It's a lifestyle brand.
Yes.
Star Wars
glow in the dark underwear. We will do that later though. But someone said we were talking about underwear, and that just because I take tangents.
Yeah, actually, Geeky does read a lot of manga.
Well, sometimes I don't really have much time to read. I wish I did. I know. We used to read all the Star Wars books.
We've got folks asking if we had time to watch Dragon Quest.
Yes,
we have.
Two more to go. We were trying.
Two more episodes?
Two more. We were so busy. We're trying to get it done because we
love it. I love it so far. I mean, we talk about it briefly. We'll do a whole video review on it, but so far I love it.
So far it's very good.
Yes. The only complaint I have is the frame rate on the animation sometimes is really, really choppy, and I think it was stylistic. They're trying to make it look like it's hand-drawn animation, but then it's just like you've got these wonderful action scenes, and then they'll cut to like a really choppy, and it is a little distracting sometimes. I gotta admit, I think so far what I've seen of it, I would give it like an A-. It
doesn't bother me so much because one time I actually watched the one Sherlock episode, like the finale of season 3 or something, and it wasn't loading right on our internet was messed up or something, and it literally kept pausing every like couple seconds, and I watched the whole episode that way, and I still could understand what was going on, so it doesn't bother me like it bothers you. But anyway, so, tune into Clownfish, where we talk about intelligent conversations about business and underwear in the same show.
Fully Cooley, yeah, I've seen Fully Cooley. It's awesome. This is okay. Cam 1138. Marvel is perhaps experiencing a loss by producing comics. We don't know, because the problem is they bury Marvel Comics in with Disney Publishing on the Disney on the fiscal reports.
Right.
So we have no way of knowing what Marvel Comics actually makes. It's buried. It's hidden.
They use their other publishing arms to
hide it. Yeah, which they could be doing well with like Hyperion and stuff, and then Marvel Comics is thrown in there. They get a fee from farming out to IDW. Yes, actually IDW has to pay Disney. They pay Disney for the honor of publishing their comics that don't sell.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Disney, like, not only do they not have to pay salaries, from their point of view, look at it this way, Disney, not only does Disney not have to pay salaries, they don't have to pay freelancers. The company, IDW or whoever it is, they absorb all of the risk. And Disney gets paid for it regardless. Even if the comics bomb hard, Disney still gets paid.
Right.
They get paid more if the comics do well.
For them.
It's win-win for Disney. So, again...
Star Wars, there's no underwear. Well, yes, that's true. Yeah, because she was complaining about her boobs in the first one, in episode 4.
Oh, there's no
underwear. There's no underwear in space.
There's no bras in space. There's underwear.
Well, you don't know that.
I don't know, because Obi-Wan might just be like... His lightsaber might just be kind of swinging in the breeze under the robes.
I'm just saying.
God, I don't know. That's why the Jedi wear robes. Because they just, they gotta feel the Force. They can't have they can't have anything constricting them. They gotta feel the Force flow through all of their parts. Anyway, but I think we're gonna wrap this one up. This is a good. I'm gonna put a link again for those of you who just came in to this article. This is Bob Iger. Saying so much about so many things and basically clearing the record on things. And just, my takeaway from this is Bob Iger wants to make money. He wants to make money.
Well, that's his goal. His goal is to report to shareholders. Right. He makes money. He makes more money if he does better. It's a business. He's a businessman.
Yep.
I mean, I'll be honest with you people. Like, when we try to do things, our goal is to how can we monetize this? Like, what's the blogs and things? It's like, that's what we're trying to do because it's a business. It's a business is what it is. With things that we work on.
That's right. And that's the way it should be. And, you can have fun with it. You can, insert some politics here and there or whatever. But
when people don't like our stories or whatever, our comics, we do not personally attack them.
No, I mean, I might completely, now I did put a link to our Discord if you haven't checked it out. It's like taking on a life of its own.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on half the time.
I have no idea what's going on over there, but we have a bunch of people. We have almost 200 people, and they're talking all the time about everything, and it's like meme central now, but it's great. I try to jump in when I can. It's just we're really busy.
I do too.
And
but yeah. Now tonight we're gonna go see what was the movie again?
Something clocks with something Jack Black.
The House of the Clock in the Walls or whatever.
Yeah.
Because our daughter wants to see that really bad. So we're gonna go see that tonight. I don't know how that's gonna be. But I like Jack Black, so
I do like Jack Black. So but yeah, check out the Discord. Please subscribe to Clownfish TV if you haven't already. Hopefully, eventually, we will get a more a better live stream schedule. We'll have a schedule, and we'll let you guys know when we're gonna do live streams ahead of time. We just don't know. Oh, there it goes. This is why we don't do them during the day because we got too much traffic.
Yeah, but at night too, it doesn't matter. But at night you get the trucks, the big trucks with the look, I'm showing off.
All those Harleys. But yeah, this is an interesting article. Definitely worth a read. Disney is doubling down on the firing of James Gunn. Bob Iger is admitting mistakes were made with Star Wars.
And he's taking responsibility.
And he's taking responsibility for it, not mentioning Kathleen Kennedy, not mentioning Rian Johnson. Very, very interesting that he chose to do it that way. And look for Disney to start cutting some corners with some business divisions that are not performing because they need every penny they can get going into 2019.
But we'll see, because just when we're coming from with the other stuff we do, we can see it in a different way. Like everybody's looking at it one way, we come at it from a different way because we see it a different way because where we come from. But anyway,
yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
All right, well, thank you so much, everybody for giving to the super chat. You don't have to do that.
We gotta go make lunch.
We gotta go make lunch. We gotta go get something. You guys go get some lunch. Go get something to eat.
Go get a sandwich.
Go get a sandwich.
Go get a sandwich.
Go get a sandwich.
And eat it in your underwear.
Wait, what?
No, we were talking about. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah, good. Yeah. Okay.
Look forward to the underwear review. Go ahead.
I do not want pictures of people.
We're not going to put you in the underwear. Don't worry.
All right.
Not on camera.
All right.